So here we are. So in with all of this leaking and other stuff like that, I often wonder whether there is a type of checklist or a system in place in Saffron or any housing association that happens where you have a team that comes out, inspects the property, looks around, looks behind all of different areas, and then updates it to a team that works inside an office somewhere, who then get the necessary groups, tradesmen out to go and do this, to go fix that, to go fix this, and then they come in, do all of the fixes, and then they leave, and then the other team that inspected the first time then go around the property again and check to make sure all of these jobs have been conducted properly. i.e. the sort of tenants guidebook, I would guess, probably not for tenants, but probably more so for housing associations. I believe that toilet systems and toilet outlets should be inspected. And how does that happen? Well, with a camera that goes down the back of the toilet where you flush it and all your waste goes, I believe that those should be looked at with a camera to make sure there are no cracks in the pipes, to follow it all the way to the drains, to make sure its integrity is good. You should also inspect around the outside of all of these for leaks, damps, and mold growth, absolutely. And therefore inspect the integrity of all the pipes. I believe that tanks, water tanks, whether in the loft or anything else like that, turn it on, fire it up. Does it work? Yes, it does. Tick it off, sign off on it, on a pad somewhere or wherever it may be. And then you would have to do the flood test. Well, what does the flood test look like? Where you could possibly or potentially flood it to see whether the overflow works properly. And that all that water drains away to stop the prevention of a future leak whilst you've got a tenant in there. Because it's very expensive if everybody keeps suing you. If they can sue you, they can only sue you for neglect unless they get you in a courtroom. Then that's a very different ballgame, completely. And I think that then the kitchen sink, I think the removal of the kitchen sink, the whole pipes, everything should be taken off. Those pipes should be inspected to make sure there's no, if they're copper pipes, that there's no greening taking place on them, because that's a sure sign that a leak is going to come. It's imminent. All of the washers need replacing to make sure the integrity of the taps are working all good. And you remove the cupboard from the wall and you look behind it. You're looking for the outlet pipe to make sure its integrity is good, that there are no holes, gaping holes in the wall that lead all the way outside. And if they do lead outside, well, we're going to have to suspect that there are rodents getting in through there. Rodents and other things like that. So we're going to need to put some humane traps down, different stuff like that. You want to look at the back of the wall for mold, not hide it behind a piece of boarding, let's say. And if there are any cracks, not just to put a cupboard around it. No, these need filling. That needs filling. That all needs to be filled. So I believe the kitchen sinks, it should all be removed. You want to look around the floor at the bottom of underneath these kickboards. It needs hoovering. Yes, it does. I say it and I'll say it again. It needs hoovering and it needs mopping. And if you really wanted to do really well, you would paint the back of all of these units on the wall where the units are going to go, and you would paint the floor down there as well, especially when there's never a lino go on there. You want to paint it with damp-proof, anti-mold paint, and that should be mandatory. Why? Well, this will save you and your structure of your building at a later date. That if there ever was a leak, it would be easy to wipe it away and deal with any mold growth that happens. You want to be looking for all of this stuff. Outdated pipes, washers, taps, they all need replacing. The silicone, it all needs pulling up. New silicone needs to go in. Wall paint, and you need to clean underneath all of these kickboards. Well, I shouldn't see seeing rat drop-ins underneath a kickboard if a voids team's been in and it's cleaned up or inspected. How did you miss all of those rat drop-ins? I don't get it. And the mice. And therefore you would have found the hole that they were entering in. Then you would have blocked this. No problem really, would there? I think the bathroom should be done in the same way, that they remove the bath board and inspect for mold, mice, rat drop-ins, and I believe that all of the debris that are underneath the bath, I mean, that is disgusting. I've never found a clean bath underneath that panel ever in my life. When the tradesmen do what they need to do, they throw all of their blue tissue under there and stuff, and some of it's got blood on it and different stuff like that. It's absolutely disgusting. People have got to clean themselves in this dirt. And I believe the same thing, that the damp paint should be painted underneath the bath, on the wall, and all of the holes need to be filled. This is just logic to me. And it needs hoovering, mop in, and then a fresh lick of paint under there. I think door frames need looking at. You need to look for dry rot and wet rot. Why wet rot? Well, because you got a leak somewhere in the house, and dry rot means that there was a past leak and the problem has perhaps gone. But even still, this stuff needs replacing. We can't be having rot all in the door frames. There is definitely rot in these door frames, and the paint blisters off as well, so there's also wet rot. This would save you a fortune. If you're finding wet rot, I'd suspect the roof, but we'll get onto that in the next bit. This checklist should be mandatory. I believe that you do this, but you have, just not done it for some particular reason. I don't get it. And then this then helps you to move on to other things, really. I think then the wood should be replaced or removed. All of the holes behind it need to be filled. Before you put on a new skirting board, damp paint. Here we go. All behind that wood, so that if there ever is a future leak, well, you just got to place some wood, replace that instead of the wall, and dig out the wall and everything else. You don't need to do it then, do you? And there you are, absolutely lovely. What about the loft space? Going up in the loft, take a ladder with you. You want to be smelling out for checking your nose, give it a sniff. If you smell a strong smell of urine or a stench that makes you cover your nose, then I would highly recommend that there are rats and mice, and that you would be either putting down... I don't agree with poison. Poison doesn't work for a number of reasons, that when you kill a rat, it runs back somewhere and it dies somewhere. This leaves in the infestation of maggots, and then you have rat carcasses everywhere. Again, it's not great. If there was a humane trap put down, and you can collect a lot of them in this, one is great, take them as far away as you possibly can and let them go, or whatever it is you do, and then perhaps after that, then put down some poisons in there in order to prevent it. But rule number one is pull back the fiberglass. Lift that fiberglass and have a look at some of the boards under there. You'll see rat drop-ins. Did you see mice drop-ins? Well, you have an infestation. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you now have fixed another problem. So I think once eradicated, there would be looking for their entry points. These would be very easy to find. Block those off would be a good start, and making preventative measures in order to stop a reinfestation, because this saves the money in the future. Looking at the felt whilst you're up there, nice bright torch. Having a look at the felt, what are we looking for? Rips, we're looking for gaps, we're looking for green, we're looking for black staining on the yellow fiberglass. If we see any black staining anywhere, suspect that there is a leak. This would then lead you to the roof tiles. We'll get onto that in a minute. And then this needs flagging up with someone that there is potentially a leak over there. Investigate it. That old fiberglass needs to come out because it's going to stink, and new fiberglass will need to go in. And I think we're getting somewhere then, aren't we? Then if we do see that, we need to, even if we don't see that, we don't want to rely on the felt. The felt looks good. Lovely. Wonderful. No mold. Okay, that's wonderful. No rips, no tears. Looks good. No discoloration on your, obviously the odd dust here and there. That's bound to be something that's going to collect, but you'll know a leak when you see one in fiberglass. That's for sure. Once all of that is checked, then it's time to pull your ladder out. Why? Because we're going to go and have a look on the roof. Where possible, where it can be done. If not, you need a team of individuals that deal with roofing to go up and inspect the roof. What are we looking for? We're looking for broken roof tiles. We're looking for lifted roof tiles. We're looking for signs of shifting in the roof tiles where there are gaps. We want to look at the integrity of the extractor fan vents. We need to be looking at that because, where this is balled up or balling up with moss, the water hits it and you get ingressive water. Absolutely not great. Not great for you in the future, and it wrecks your building and causes a far more expensive job. While you're up there and it's all being assessed, it's looking pretty good to me. No, that tile needs replacing and a few of these. This will save you in being sued later. So, again, there we are. Then it moves us on to the gutters and the downpipes. I believe that all the downpipes, especially if connected to a soakaway, need a camera shoving down the downpipe for its integrity. We need to get to the soakaway. We want to be looking for leaves. We want to be looking for sticks. We want to be looking for it not working properly. This needs testing. This needs checking. And its integrity needs looking at. If not, it's going to cost a job later on. Might as well do it now. The gutter needs looking at and inspecting. Is it okay? Is it sound? Does it look good? Is the bits broken off? Is it perished? If it's perished, it's time to replace it. And we're looking for cracks, debris, and different things, and it might need to be cleaned out. Once this is all done, we're well on a roll, aren't we? Wow, wow, wow. I think you then need to go around and we need to then inspect the windows. Is there any loose bricks around the outside of the window? If yes, that needs replacing. If no, we're all good. Hunky-dory. Then we need to look at the silicone. Is that silicone integrity good? Yes or no? If it isn't, then pull it out and replace it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't cost very much. We're looking for holes inside the window frame, underneath the windowsill. We want to be looking for all of this stuff because if there is holes, then we're going to be making black mold on the inside of the windows. So, while looking and finished off all of these things, we're going to need to be looking on the inside of the windows now. And we're going to need to be looking for integrity, aren't we? Oh, we found a hole on the outside of the window. Go on to the inside and then we'll have to see, is there any black mold in that area? If it is, that silicone needs ripping out. We need to check the windowsill to make sure there's no more. Put down some spray, to remove mold and different stuff like that. That needs to go down. Clean that all away. Let that work in. And then we need to re-silicone it. Job's a good un, hunky-dory. Now we're going to open the window. We're going to push it open. Is it stiff? Yes or no? If it's too stiff, it needs sorting. Get it sorted. Again, this is your responsibility. Windows are your responsibility. Inside and outside of the windows, it is your responsibility. All of this needs a stress test. You have to physically open it, close it, turn the key in it. Does it lock? Yes. Is the handle loose? Is that window handle loose? Yes. No? If it is, then you're going to need to tighten it or you're going to need to replace it. Can I find all of the keys for the window? And you go around and test every single window manually. Lavate las manos. We're not cleaning our hands. We're using our hands manually to check things. Wonderful. All of this stuff then needs to be sorted out. Then we need to look at the walls. We're looking at the walls on the outside as well when we were up there with the ladder and different things, looking for loose bricks, cracks, anything else like that. No loose bricks, no problem. Yes, loose bricks, problem, got to get it sorted. Flag it up with someone. If all of this was put into a pad, where you have the blueprints of every property loaded into a pad, inside and outside, and it becomes a sticker process. Blue stickers are for windows, red stickers are for bricks. Green stickers are for lost insulation. Okay, white stickers are for silicone jobs. White sticker here. That tells the trade person that you need to go to this window on this building because they'll have the same pad. I know where it is. Yep, it's this one. Okay, now I need to fix this over here. Jobs, it just makes things so much more simpler. And with technology knocking at the door, there is no excuse for this type of condition to be rolled out in the UK any longer. None whatsoever. Are there any wall issues? So we want to be looking for small holes. Why? Well, because this leads damp to come in. Are we relying on your insulation? The insulation in the wall cavity could then get mold in it. This mold then blisters up on the inside of the wall. This damp also causes the plasterboard integrity on the inside to get all blistered and popped and potty. And then this causes a problem later on. If you leave it, this is what causes more money to be put into something. And you could save so much money just by checking this stuff out. It's all that it needs. Just a careful eye looking around. Making the best homes possible on a budget is probably the best way to do it. But finding the problem before it develops into a serious problem, that is the key to success, in my opinion. If you see a hole on the outside of the wall, it's probably a good indication to go and have a look on the inside of the wall. And you want to be looking for warping. Different types of warpedness on the inside of the wall. The plasterboard might look integral. The integrity of the wall on the inside is now starting to show signs of age. It shouldn't be. Aha, the problem is I need to plug this with perhaps a little bit of insulation in there. Either or expanding foam or a bit of silicone, and then you put the concrete over it, the cement, the little bits that you do. This will save you a fortune in the long run, I can assure you on that. I would personally spray the hole with a little bit of mold and anti-mold and I don't know what it's called now. Mildew remover. I would put that in there just as a precaution. And yeah, you are. Any mold on the inside, I'd be looking on the outside. I'd be looking at the tiles. I'd be trying to find that down. And there you are. You got the sticker process. Did I write anything else? Yes, the water meter. Ah, there we go. Water meter. We need to lift up that water meter on the outside and we need to have a look at it. We got to have a good look at that. And considering the post meter is your problem, Saffron, and housing associations alike, but before it, it's down to the water board. After it, it's your problem. Why do we have water pipes then that are underground that go under the so it runs from the meter, it runs underground, then it pops up somewhere inside the house? If this belongs to you, and if I owned and directed your companies, I would make sure that this was implemented immediately as soon as I started. All of those pipes would go above ground. They would run along the side of the wall. They would be put into a special box that was quite insulated from the elements, and it would come through the wall. Just one foot through the wall, not come under the ground and then pop up through. No, 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 no. I want to be able to see these pipes so that I can inspect them. When a tenant moves out, I want to be able to inspect that. And what's more, it saves me a heck of a job if those pipes ever were to degrade. I would be able to replace that easy. Wouldn't need all of this. I wouldn't need to dig up all of some tenant's garden and then take out the sink and then get under the floor and dig all of that up. No one wants that. That's a pain in the butt. I would implement that those would be changed immediately as mandatory throughout all of the companies, that they would run across the wall somewhere so you could see it in a protective casing, so that you could just flap it open at a time that you needed to. And then if a tenant knew there was a leak, that would run water out of that box. You would see it. There you are, early warning. If it's leaking underground, no one's going to see it. What's more, these are most responsible for causing damp inside a house. This is the biggest reason for damp. One of those pipes perishes in that ground somewhere, that's leaking all the way inside your building. And you're relying on your damp course to leak the water out. This is causing mold under the house, bad smells, bad tenant experience. Bad tenant experience means bad cooling at the call center. The call center person that answers the phone is having now a bad time. Let's stop this perpetual motion here that keeps on playing out. And let's make it as easy as possible for everybody involved, tenant and also the people working answering those calls. That's a heck of a job you guys do at the call center. I must admit, I take my hat off to you, to be honest. I get it that you are on the brunt of most of this stuff, and especially when you're caught in the middle between contractors, tenant, and you are the one in the middle trying to fix all of this stuff. My heart goes out to all of you, and well done for doing a fantastic job. But yeah, I really do appreciate what you do, and I know you're in the middle of a lot of this stuff, so you do a wonderful job. I don't think you're paid enough. I would definitely up their money. Anyway, so if damp has ever been suspected in a building, ever been called in by a tenant, mold, damp or anything, I think that it needs checking once every 6 months to make sure, fully sure, that all of those problems have been resolved. And I would do this for the next 2 years after that date. Because the worst thing I'd ever want to do is, number one, is put the tenant through any unnecessary problems like that. And number two, I most certainly don't want my building to be destroyed during that process. And let's be realistic that when this stuff sets in, the mold, the damp, it's gonna grow. Do you know mold is a very, very fascinating thing? Do you know that? It's fascinating. Do you know why it fascinates me so much? It works on a wick system. It only needs one piece of that fungi to be connected to moisture, and it feeds the entirety of the colony, and it has the ability to grow into dry environments. That's really clever, that is. That is extremely clever by using a wick system. You know, like the old days of making those oil lamps that you could light them up? It uses the same wick process. So the wick could extend a really long way from the oil basin, yes, where it takes the oil, and it can burn over here. That is fungus. That is fascinating to me. The way it is able to do that is incredibly gifted, and we underestimate that life form. We way underestimate that parasite. We really do. And with this ability, it has the ability to drain moisture from outside and grow up a wall or down a wall. That is incredible. No other life form seems to be able to quite cope with moisture in this way, or to be able to move moisture through a colony. It's incredible.
Destroys inner walls.
Yeah.
Goes through.
So I would definitely have that. I would want to check that at least every 6 months for the next 2 years as mandatory standard. I'd even do it for 3 months, but that might be a bit of a burden to the tenant. And I understand that. But at the same time, it causes health problems It is not great even in healthy people. This causes health problems and it causes corporation problems too, you know. It's a hell of an arseache to go through any of these problems, whether you are a tenant, whether you are answering the call, whether you have to come back, and whether you are the head of a corporation. I would manage the company in all of these ways, but there would be a very special team. Team comes in first, and they are not friends with the contractors. They're not buddies. They're not there to get, you know, ha 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 or anything else. No, they're coming in to do a specific job that they need to do in order for the well-being of everybody. They become the backbone of the corporation. Why? Because they come in, they check it, they do it, they have a look. They see all of these problems, stick the sticker on the pad in all the rooms which color coordinated so that when the contractors get the pad, they know exactly what job they're there to do. And the other person knows what to do, and this person, and they all work together in this. They all come in, all hands on deck. And then another group come in and re-inspect all of the work that has been carried out. Right, so they did this work here. No, it hasn't been done properly. Come back and fix this, please. This one, tick. Yeah, this one's been done properly. Okay, close that. This one's been done properly. Okay, close that. This one's been done properly. Yes. And they go around and they check it again, separate it in the teams, and they come back. Yes, this is my report that I found. They become like the little surveyors that are the backbone. And what they do is they take the burden off of the call center so that they are a bit more freed up and they're not so much in that sort of, and I'd also convert it to AI. I would also make it so that you could accept videos as a way. If you've got a leak or a problem, tenants, you can send us a video. The video will be seen, right? Okay, yes, this, and this. You get so much detail from a video, more so than what you get from a picture. A picture can be up close, farther away. It is not really great. A video, well, it's in the purest, rawest form. And what this does is it takes a hell of a lot of burden off of the call center and it takes burden off of the tenant. I would implement this as a way to contact. If you are not able to do a video and different things like that, you're not confident, find someone in your family that is. This can always be incentivized. And if some people are just need to call and talk to someone, then find this way would be awesomely done. And a way of them putting it in writing as well, because it takes the burden off of the call center. We all know how it is. If you're in this situation, it's very hard to look at a 6 and the call center might say that 6 is a 9 and they're getting the brunt of it because someone is unhappy. This is inside somebody's house, in their own personal space. They can't get away from it. It is causing an absolute disruption to their life. Then they've got to wait months for a contractor to come out. Where is this contractor? And then there is human error element to it. Some things don't just get relayed properly the way we give it, but if it's there in a video in the rawest form, this could help so many people put it in. And what it does is it takes the personal opinion off. You're just watching a video. I like watching videos. I even like watching myself sometimes once I've gone around looking at all of this stuff. It is very good. You see where you go. It is a hard position for any call operator to be in the middle of this situation. And then if they have told someone about it, but they haven't gone and done it, or they have done something, or something has messed up there, that human error then has an impact on the tenant, which then has an impact again on the staff, which then makes them feel depressed. The tenant feels depressed. This person missed their commitment. They feel depressed. And then if the staff at the call center didn't put it over properly, this person now feels depressed. Tenant now feels depressed. And this is a perpetual cycle that keeps on happening over and over again. And everyone is getting depressed in the situation when really we should all understand that we're all human beings. We're all extended family, let's put it that way. And we are all in this together. And it would be beneficial in an ideal world for us all to work together. But perhaps call staff might have had a bad day that particular day. We don't know. Perhaps the tenant has had a bad day on top of this bad situation. And they're just a little cranky, toothache, cranky, health condition, cranky. We are, understandably, you are, as a call center, you are dealing with people who are coming from many different backgrounds. Perhaps some of them are very sick. And at the same time, as a tenant, you've got to understand that the people in the call center are human too, and have probably got some life experiences going on too. They might have toothache. They might not be able to see a dentist. They might be sick. And then there might be this sort of, we've got to try and find a way to meet in the middle. And sometimes AI is that bridge between the two. So I think moving AI would probably help as well. Well, anyway, that is my shortest list that I can do. Also, extractor fans. No one ever seems to deal with the extractor fans. way we try and keep mold and damp out of a house is reliant on a lot of, I like to call them ceiling hoovers. They just constantly suck, don't they? So if they're clogged full of dust and debris, I think that this should be replaced. I mean, I did take this one down and I took out the bit that spun because it was easy to do so, and I can do it. Not everybody can, I appreciate that. And I cleaned off all of the dust and everything else and all the sticky chip fat. You know, it's a kitchen, it's sucking it all up. But in the pipe itself, when that's got full of dust and it's not being maintained by anybody, this one and the one in the bar, it has not been maintained by anyone. Ideally, it needs the top popping off on the roof, and it needs to be able to put a foam ball inside the pipe. This is how we cleaned out piling pipes, by the way, for construction, where you clean out the piling pipes. We put in a foam ball, we put in some water into the pump, we get it under pressure, and then that pump pushes out the foam ball and it brings out all of the bits of granite and the cement, because if not, those pipes are very expensive. Anyway, same sort of process needs designing for one of these. So at the end of it, you get to put it in, put the ball in, and then the fan blows out the top of the roof, let's say, not in like massive so it goes miles. There it goes, neighbour's house, throw it back. You know, not anything like that spectacular, but enough to push when it goes through, even pushing it with a stick, if they were made to be put in a way that sealed them to, I don't know, a beam of the loft, let's say. A frame got put up, and this got fixed so that the pipe that comes down is then fixed to the beams, let's say. Then when you went to push it with a ball on the end of it, let's say, and a foam ball, and you went to push it and it expands into the pipe, and you push it up and it comes out the top of the roof and bounces down, it pushes all the dust out with it. This gives you the force to push it against, and you're not going to push the pipe out the roof, right? That's not what you want to do. That's not a good thing. But what it does let you do is it cleans the pipe out. If you've got a damp house, it relies on ventilation, especially extractor, and it relies on this airflow. Without it, it's no good. So it is blocked to a degree. Haven't wrote this in the email, but I don't know, this video speaks for itself. These things need also cleaning out at the end of tenancies. Actually, no, they need cleaning out every year. This would be another thing that I'd implement into it, that these would need to be cleaned. Why? Well, because if I'm managing director of these houses, I need them to last as long as possible while building new ones to keep people with roofs over their heads, and the building relies on certain things to be maintained properly in order for me to keep roofs over people's heads. That would be my job at the end of the day, and to keep all of my staff members happy, and tenants, and the building. And there would need to be a lot of constructive, when the staff do a good job, they will be bonused for it. That will come out of my managing directing pocket pot, that will. And at the end of the year, around Christmas or different times like that, here you go. That's for a good, well done job. Well done. Team building, and what's more, what do your family like doing? Oh, my family likes going, it's summer. What do you want to do? Do you want to go to a pleasure beach somewhere? It's not expensive, but it's enough. And would you take the other colleagues with you? And then can you go and do some team building? Do some go ape at Thetford Forest, or do some paintballing somewhere, or whatever it is. Go to Wheaton and watch steam trains if you must. Take a day off and go and do some fishing together. Get your licenses though, but if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to go skiing, if you wanted to do this, I think that this would be very important for team building, especially when they have to answer a lot of calls and different things like this. And they're dealing with quite understandably, they're dealing with individuals who have got this situation going down. And I think that it just takes that burden that when they're in that moment, I've got this. And then they can think back to the time when there was a situation where they went away and did some paintballing sometime. They can just take themselves out of that moment for a bit. Just think about that. Right, we're going in because next month we're going somewhere else. Do you see what I mean? And then I think that this helps the staff as well. And we would need to motivate all of the workforce. They need to be empowered to do a better job. There is no criticizing in the work that they've done, but if they've kind of bodged it, then there will need to be a friendly way and money available for them to do the right job. The tools need to be ready. They need to know what they're doing before they go there. Lots of information, this, that, and the other. And another thing, when you're in the loft, you need to be looking out for hornet nests, wasps' nests, and bees' nests. and to be taking care of all of this stuff. So if I can help in this video, less than 30 minutes is all I wanted to spend on this video, just to try and push this forwards as a way to try and help everybody in the situation. But I feel that there are failures from the managing director at the moment, that you're not in the company motivating the staff, especially from what I've read. They feel neglected, and they are important. They are very important to the running of the show, let's say, that makes it good for everybody, including you. It makes it all harmonious as possible. So, and I think that with these types of changes inside there, that this will make a more harmonious situation. At least you know the pipes are integral. What if you've had a tenant that's been there for many years? Well, we'd need to change those. Every so many years, we'd need to change those, you know? So I would go in deeper into this. This would just be a baseline. I thought this up overnight. So actually, yesterday night, I was writing this yesterday. So I was thinking about all of this with the staff members in mind, because it does bug me. It does. The call center are really, they're grinding down, and I want to try and uplift them if I can, although some of my videos probably have not come across that way. But at the same time, I'm trying to do the best I can, and as I appreciate that you are trying to do the best you can with the situation. It's not a great one for either of us to be in, but it does plague my mind. It does really bother me that I think that you need more. You're not getting enough from that company, and I think that you definitely need more team building and just getting away from it from now and then. Job safe. Here's a little bit of a bonus. You're appreciated. This, and this. I know money isn't the overall answer, but it can make a big difference to your life. And it can sort of, you know what, that just sort of takes the rain off the back for a little bit. And if that can help, then so be it. So yeah, I'm going to leave this one here. That's all I wanted to talk about on this one. But I could go in this a little bit more. So could somebody else. Take these ideas, shape them. Hey, I'd even take your job. I'd shape it. I would like to have a go at that. That would be something. Yeah, and there we are. So, again, that's where I'm at with that. So, there you are. There, I'm going to leave it there. So, there you are.